Okay, so it's 12:30, so let's begin. I apologize if you can't hear me too well through the mask. It does muffle my voice a bit. So let me just do a quick introduction. My name is Cody James. I'm a fellow here at the William A. Wise Law Library and also an alum of the class of 2020 from the CU Law School as well. Today I'll be presenting on a LibGuide that we created called 2L Year and Beyond. This is basically a guide to how to succeed in the second and third year of your law school, as well as some introductory resources to help you succeed in the first couple of years of your practice as well. To begin, I would like to just introduce the home page of the law library. I don't know how many are familiar with this and how much you go here, but there's this great section if you scroll down. So if you just Google Wise Law Library, CU Law Library, this page will come up, and this is our home page. And you see right here, research guides. Today we're going to talk about just one research guide, but we have multiple ones. These are great resources. You can find things about how to access resources in the library, how to conduct research on special topics, and other types of helpful information. So you want to go right here under research guides and click all. That will take you to the full database range of all the different guides that we'll be looking at. Today we're just looking at the particular one that we created recently called 2L Year and Beyond Success Guide. So you click on that and it takes you to the guide. And this is kind of the home screen. It'll go through and give you an introduction of what this guide stands for and kind of what kind of resources we have. So at this point in your career, you are relatively seasoned, you've been to 1L year, and for the 2Ls, this is actually probably your first chance to come back into the building. So we want to create this guide to help you navigate and see what the library has to offer and how they can help you through your law school career as well as your beginning of your legal career as well. So, as you know, the Juris Doctorate is what we call a professional doctorate. And unlike undergrad or other type of academic programs, really law school is about one thing and mostly one thing only, and that is getting a full-time JD required job or JD Advantage job on the other side of this program. That's why we're here, to get a lawyer or other type of JD job. And how you do that, the three most important things are grades matter, studying's important, learn your material, career development. Law is a lot of profession about who you know is very helpful. So how to communicate and how to develop your own professional career growth is important. And the unfortunate reality is also the bar exams still exist. In 2020, we tried to go to diploma privilege. That movement failed for us. So unfortunately, the odds are you're going to be able to take that bar exam. And that is a gatekeeper mechanism that will decide whether or not you can practice. So it's important to prepare for that as well. And with all three of those things, the library does have resources to offer that can help you. And let's start with the education, your grades and your academic work. So we have the study process, and by this point in time, you probably develop your own routine, how you want to go about things, how you outline, how you learn, and how you study, which is great, and you should rely on that. You should not fundamentally change how you study if it's been working for you. If that has not been working for you, and you're looking for some change, or if you just want some tips, we have a lot of great resources, books, podcasts, online material that can help you give you pointers how to outline better, how to prepare for exams better. And you'll find this information in the guide as well underneath a quick review of law school. So as you can see, as you go through it, it provides some general knowledge books, just kind of topics about law school. Some are geared a little bit more to 1L, but they will have a chapter or two on 2L and 3L, which can be beneficial for you as well. We also have some topics I want to talk real quick about legal research. As you know, it's an optional class, but we highly recommend you take it. Legal research is the bread and butter of any lawyer's work. If you cannot find the law, then you cannot advocate for your client. So it is fundamental to the practice of law. And we offer basic legal research courses as well as advanced ones. You can find the links to these home course pages on this guide and some more resources to help provide increasing your experience with legal research. As you can see, we have sections on outlining. There are online resources in case you don't have time to read a book. Completely understandable. Your 2Ls, they work you to death. 3Ls, they bore you to death, as the old saying goes. So you probably don't want to necessarily pick up a giant book and read through it. So these online resources are good, quick reviews of outlining tips and tricks that can help you. And there's some study aids. We'll be talking about more of this in a sec, so I don't want to spend too much time on that. And here's some more information on exam prep, general outlining, general tips and topics of how to improve your grades and exam scores. And here at the bottom, once again, if you don't really want to read books, we have some videos and podcasts that provide the same information, but in a more friendly delivery manner of videos and audio recordings. So next, let's go to career developments. First and foremost, if you have any questions about your career or opportunities for that, you should go talk to the career development office. We have a great CDO team here that can help you. I know when I was a student here, they're very personal. They take the time out of their schedule to help and improve your aspects of obtaining the job that you want. But what we have to offer here in the library are more supplements. So if you're interested in different career paths, different ideas, we have different books that can offer you kind of general advice, general reviews of what it's like to be an environmental lawyer, how to start your own firm. Information like that you can find within our library that can help supplement the advice and information given to you by CDO. Here's just kind of that information I just talked about. Anything that I say, you'll be able to find in this guide. So don't be afraid if you're not taking notes. Here's some resources of different books, different perspectives. And once again, I like to highlight the digital resources and podcasts. So as a student, you have access to many great things through the ABA and other type of organizations that want to help and see you succeed. Now this section, study guides, might be the most important information for you right now, might be what you think about the most, because let's be honest, it's October, well, 3 days away from October, so it's close enough, I'm gonna call it October. So, it's October, kind of September still, but, and it might not feel like it, but you know as well as I do, it's gonna be final soon, and you're gonna be cramming, you're gonna be stressed, and you're gonna want help studying. And we offer many great study resources through the library. This is probably why I recommend taking advantage the most. When I was a student, I didn't take advantage of that, and I deeply regret that. I think it really helped. It made me feel more confident. But I will say with any resource that is a study or supplement, always remember that the supplement is not authoritative. It's good information, but what your professor says and what they want is most important. So if there's anything that conflicts between the supplement and what your professor has taught you, always default to what your professor teaches you. Here we have kind of an introduction of what supplements we have. A lot of these are both offered in print, so you can find the library, as well as online or remote. So if you're at home or you just prefer using online resources, you can use that. One tip of how to use this page right here, study guides in particular, is if you don't know how to do Control F, basically just say Control F, and now what class do we want to find? Let's go with First Amendment. And it'll pull up, and here is the different series that we have. So as you can see now, we have First Amendment right there. We click on that link, and that will take you to Walter Cooler's guide. This is the online version. You can also access it in the library as well. And now you can access this resource and that will be studied. And so we don't have resources for every class, as you can see. Some guides have more than the others, with examples and explanations being particularly well covering different topics. Other guides a little bit less so. So you just got to look through and see what guides we have to offer you and see if you can find the course that you need. We do have a lot of guides, so I recommend looking through, and I say Control F is a quick way so you don't have to scroll and read through all of it, you can just go straight there. Next, this is a question we get a decent amount up in the library, is past exams. So past exams are determined by the professor whether or not they're going to give them out. We don't have any control of that, that's purely their decisions, and if they do want to provide that to us, we do have a database of past exams. These can be very useful study tools because they can see how the professors write and how they ask questions so you can compare effectively. So if you click right here, you will see the link. It'll take you to another LibGuide. That's what we call library guides with different classes. Once again, this is not an exhaustive list. It is possible that your professor might have provided last year but not this year, and there might be a new professor, or the course might not even have a past exam. But you can go through and browse and see different courses and see what past exams we have on file for you to access. Next, I want to just talk really quickly about mental and physical health. Obviously, if you are having serious mental health issues, I recommend contacting a mental health professional. I highly encourage that. Support is always important, definitely in law school, and taking care of yourself mentally and physically is a recipe for success in law school. But if you're just kind of interested in different ways, different perspectives and tips on how to take care of your mental health, Throughout law school, we have resources and we have options. There are books that provide overviews, different advice on how to be semi-happy in law school. I know for a lot of us it's stressful, it's long, and it can feel very bleak sometimes, but it's very important to always have good perspective. Now, you might be thinking, bar exam, I'm a 2L, it's really far away, I don't need to think about that, and you are 100% correct. You are 2L and you do not need to be stressing about the bar exam right now. If you want to, there are courses, and there's a list you'll see on the guide that provides a list of all bar review courses that the CU Law School offers. If you want to take those, are great. You don't need to. I took some. I passed the bar, but I did not take all. So that's really a personal choice on how you want to prepare for the bar exam. Now, the MPRE is another whole other topic. In case you're not familiar, the MPRE stands for Multi-State Professional Responsibility Examination. It's a 60-question multiple choice exam that is required to be taken to be admitted to the Colorado Bar. It is less daunting than the bar exam. It only tests professional responsibility and ethics, and you can take that as a 2L. That's what I did. I took my first one as a 2L, and I passed it, and that was just out of the way. So that's also the decision when you want to take it. People recommend 2L to 3L year before you start getting really heavy into bar prep, because then once you get into bar prep, that's just going to take over. So what does the MPRE test? It tests the professional ethics, and when you think ethics, you got to think this is subjective. This is not a subjective test on personal ethics, so they're not going to ask you what is right and wrong in the abstract. They're going to base it off what are the professional code of ethics and what is your ethical obligations as codified under statute and law, and that's what they'll be testing. And if you want, we also have some really good resources for that. I recommend looking at these. The MPRE is a very learnable test and does not require huge amount of investment of time or energy to pass a week. I know a lot of people took it at a weekend. In fact, we have a book and thing called The Weekend MPRE. So if you just postponed, which happens, no shame, and you just need to study real quick, we got resources for that. If you want to take a little bit more time, we got resources for that. I really highly recommend you looking at this to supplement any research you're doing for the MPRE. One last thing, as you probably know, since you spent all of last year remote, being in person might be even more new, but when I was a law student, I know a lot of my colleagues didn't necessarily know this. Almost all our resources are available online. In order to access that, you have to be on the VPN. This provides a guide on a step-by-step walkthrough how to do that, so that way if you're home, if you're sick, whatever reason, if you're just more comfortable there, you can access all of our resources online and still be able to study effectively for tests. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to us and contact us here through the Law Ref. We have an Ask Us feature that you can use, as well as making appointments. Reference librarians are on staff 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. These are great resources, and I'm first one to admit I'm a bit biased because I'm also a reference librarian, but we will help you with any topic. If you just want to talk about your classes, we're here for you. Anything we can help you that's remotely legal research based, we're more than happy to take time out of our day to help you. Now, if you have any other further questions about this, this will be the point in the presentation. I'd be like, does anyone have any questions? Unfortunately, there's no one in the room right now, so I've actually been talking more or less to myself. So virtually, if anyone has any questions, you're welcome to ask it now. If not, I look forward to seeing you in the law library, and I hope you have a good day.